Okay, so we got another presidential administration coming into play, and a lot of people are breathing sighs of relief because, they're just so traumatized by the fact that Trump was the president, and, they think it's all over now, and the country's going to go back to normal because we have some decent, respectable people coming into play. Unfortunately, the media hasn't covered much of the history of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. And I'm not going to get into all the details of all the different things, all the dirt that's on these people. But I mean, just one fact alone to begin, or not really to begin with, because like I said, I'm not getting into them. But Kamala Harris once called out Joe Biden for supporting segregationists. So if she's calling him out, this happened in a presidential debate. And or for the Democratic nomination for a candidacy for to run in the election. So she's there calling him out, but then she runs with him. Now, I'm not saying that nobody's ever done that before, where they called somebody out and they end up like running with them, right? But the fact is, you're not going to hear this in the news. They're not going to tell you that, and if this is going to be such a great situation with Biden and Harris, well, let's put it to the test. Let's wait 4 years and see what happens. If you're so confident that everything's going to be better, well, let's just put that to the test because we can't say anything now. We can't just say automatically that everything is better. But what it looks like is it's going to be a big fraud in itself. It's going to be a big joke. It's going to be more lockdowns. It's going to be more suppression of speech, right? It's going to be locking up lots of people. It's going to be censorship of information, which is already on the rise. And many people aren't aware of this thing with the censorship on all the major media platforms. I mean, you even have on CNN, they're saying, oh, well, we should censor conservatives, because they're trying to push this narrative that all those people are radicals, right? So they're the only ones who have any irrational people. But I guess you don't have that with the left, who's gone with BLM and Black Lives Matter and torch the cities and everything, right? Our new class of liberals coming out of the universities, they're being taught there that everything is sexist, racist, homophobic, and then you're having conservative speakers going to these universities, and these people are trying to shout them down. They're going into these speeches and they're pouring blood all over themselves. They're walking up on stage and blocking everybody from talking. And what's funny is these people who they're coming in and they're calling them neo-Nazis, they're calling them alt-right, they're calling them KKK, all of these things. These people are coming and speaking. They're saying, no, stop looking at people for their identity. Right? Look at them for their character. And a lot of times these people, they don't even know who they're talking about when they come to shut them down. They're standing outside waiting to go in and stop these people from speaking. And you ask them, oh, so what's going on here? Well, this person's coming and he's speaking homosexual, anti-homosexual material, racist material, and all this stuff. And then you ask them, well, who's coming to speak? They say, I don't know. Okay. There's another conservative who has been doing these debates and traveling across the world and university to university. His name is Milo Yiannopoulos, and he doesn't quite fit the picture of what people would call a racist or sexist or homophobic or a homophobe, but people still do. And the fact is, he surprises them because he's like, listen, you're trying to say all this stuff about me, but I'm an immigrant, I'm Jewish, and I'm gay. So how can you call me all of these things? Because you don't know my history, right? And that's what's happening with all these people. All these conservatives, these intellectuals are coming out and speaking against this social justice warrior class that's coming out of the universities. All these people are becoming rich because they're making YouTube videos and they're blowing up all over the world, and people are listening to what they're saying because they're saying, listen, all you leftists are acting so irrational, and you're just on this hate rampage. You're not actually fixing the situation, and you don't actually believe in equality and inequality, and you don't believe in free speech. So if you want to come to terms, you got to stop with the hate. You got to stop with the extremism. You got to stop with this fervor that you're going to go and right the world by spitting venom everywhere, you know? So, but what I see has happened with the election, with the Trump administration, with this social justice warrior mentality to stop racism, sexism, and homophobia, is it's not that the actual things that are happening are these bad acts. What it is people just being upset about certain people existing. That's all it is. People can't speak to say, okay, well, there's these incidents and this and that, right? They'll use feeble things that they hear in the media that are all overblown. But it's like, when's the last time you heard, like, some real big racial stuff? There's always going to be day-to-day racial incidents that happen. But it's like the way these people act, it's like as if like the KKK is going to come and burn a cross on somebody's lawn tomorrow, or maybe Donald Trump's doing it at the White House, right? But there's no level, or there's no rationality towards the way these people are thinking about these things. They just think everything is as top-notch offensive, and these are the people who are coming out, and they're going to become the new liberals, right? They're replacing the older liberals, and they're just spewing hatred themselves while thinking that they're stopping the hatred out there, right? Black Lives Matter, Antifa, they're addressing violence, right? But and hatred, but they're the ones who are destroying the cities. They're the ones who are going down or going and calling everybody racist, sexist, homophobic. Their whole repertoire looks sad because they're not individuals who act humble, who act reasonable, who act strong, who act fearless. They're cowards. They don't have anything to say except CNN talking points. And one thing about the news is people tend to think that the news is an authority on information. The news is not an authority on information. They're presenters of information. And there's a huge liberal bias there too. There's a huge liberal bias in our society. Psychology is feminized. Education is feminized. The politics is feminized. What else? The culture is feminized. Did I say the education system? I don't think I said that yet. The education system is feminized. It's just top right, or from top to bottom, our society has been liberalized and feminized, and we're eliminating the conservative base that's out there, or the conservative notions that are out there. But we need the two of them, and you can't have one without the other, because everything in nature is balance, right? And in terms of equality, nothing is 50-50. Certain things change at times, and they level out here or there, but if something goes really bad, the other side comes and it levels it off. But you're never going to have where everything's right in the middle and everything ends there, right? There's got to be a fight to keep things in place, but that has to be with rationality. So everybody, stop thinking that, our world is full of hate crimes and full of hateful people and getting emotional about things. Look at the big picture and what's the actual result, okay? People are turning against people. People are having discussions about this stuff, and they're losing friends, they're losing family members. And this is just a big plot to divide everybody. And to look at people for what gender they are, for what sex they are, that's actually racist and sexist in itself. You're not supposed to be looking at people for their identity. You're just supposed to deal with them for the kind of things that they bring on the table. So I'm going to leave it at that, and I'll see you in the next video. Please like, share, subscribe, and comment.